Hi, my name is Hallie. I was a cast member in Youthquake for a very long time, and now I'm an intern here at Youthquake. And today I just want to take a little bit of time to share with you about my journey of purity. So from an early age, even before I really knew Jesus, I can remember always realizing and recognizing how important it was to stay pure and to save sex for at least a serious relationship. And I can remember being like 10 or 11 or something like that and going to an event at a church, and they put on this thing, and I remember signing like an abstinence card, and even knowing then that sex was something that was important and not something to be thrown around. But it was never like a big deal to me. It was just always like something that I kept in the back of my head. But that was until my whole world got rocked when I was 14, and I gave my life to Jesus like fully, not just like halfway, not lukewarmly. I really just like repented and gave my life over to Him. And when I did that, when you really surrender yourself to God, some things in your life have to change. And for me, part of that was my standards of purity and what I thought about my future. And from that point on, I knew that saving myself for marriage was the best thing that I could do. And so I got a purity ring, and I made that commitment to God, and it was something that was important to me. But that was at the beginning of high school. I was like only 14, I was really young, but I was like, yeah, I can do this. But in the back of my head, I always kind of figured like, oh, as I get older in high school and go into college, like, I'll have a boyfriend and I'll have that kind of experience, and we'll see what happens and who knows. But the older I got, and as the years progressed, I never really had that. And now I sit here and I'm 19, I'm in college, and I've never had a boyfriend, and I've also never been kissed. And at times for me, that's something really difficult to deal with, because one of my biggest insecurities, especially before I knew Jesus, was my self-image, and especially how my self-image was portrayed to men. And so for me to have to go through this, it's been difficult at times, because it makes me feel, it has made me feel, less pretty or not as beautiful as some other girls, and jealous of people when they're in relationships. And so it's been hard. And I used to get mad at God that I didn't get to have like the normal high school experience. But the older I've gotten and the more mature I've gotten spiritually, the more I realize what a blessing it is that I've gotten to have this journey. And I've watched so many of my friends and people around me, and even in church, just get their hearts teared down and messed up from relationships. And I used to want that in a way. I used to want to have that experience. But now I look back at my time in high school, and even now going in, as I'm in college, and I'm so grateful that God has given me this opportunity to just save myself and to recognize that this time is an important time to prepare myself for marriage. And to me, I consider it the highest gift and such a blessing that one day when I get married, I can look my husband in his eyes and tell him with complete honesty that I love him, and I loved him enough before we even knew each other, that I've honored him in every possible way. And part of that honor is honoring what God wants for our marriage, and letting sex be something only that I share with him, and relationships that are serious like that only be something I share with my husband. And I really believe that God created sex for only marriage. That's biblically proven. The walk of, or the journey, I guess, of purity is definitely not the easiest way that in our world, in our culture in the West, that you could take. And it's probably not going to be the most popular thing. It's often going to make you feel lonely, but it's the thing that God wants for us, I think. And I really believe that God will reward those who are pure. And when your heart is pure, and when you can give that to your future spouse, I mean, like what greater gift is that? So that's why I stayed pure. That's why I'm still staying pure. That's been my journey, and I hope that this can bless you in some way.
Love can save us all. Hope is not lost.